Okay, so you guys, there's on this podcast, there are thousands and thousands. We've had 10 million downloads or something. You guys have a lot of power, and I want you to think this out. We've kind of presented both sides here a little bit, and I want to tell you something. I agree with Danielle.
Aww.
I agree with you completely. I think that the regulators ought to stay away from this and let the little guy do what he does. I think it's time that they start to realize that we have been empowered as little guys by the internet with tools of investing and knowledge and information that never existed before like the year 2000.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is like they're accusing the little guy right now of not being able. I'll put it like this: 500 years ago, Gutenberg invented a printing press, and up until that point in time, the little guy had no information, and so democracy was impossible. But after the printing press, democracy became possible because the little guy insisted, "No, I do know. I do know things. You have been telling me for 1,000 years, I don't know anything. I'm a serf, I'm a peasant, I'm a slave. I don't know anything. And now I do know things, and we want our power." And we got it, as in democracies. This is the same movement happening exactly for the same reasons. Financial literacy became possible with the advent of the internet. And all of a sudden, all the secrets of the priest class, the priesthood of Wall Street, all of those secrets, all the guys Charlie Munger calls shamans and witch doctors, all their little secrets are now fully exposed. And the little guy
they're starting to be.
We got as much information as they do. And when it comes to one single stock, I can promise you that if you dug into one stock as deep as you wanted to, as you could, you'd know more than most guys on Wall Street know about that company. I mean, they just don't dig into stuff like that. But they're mostly momentum traders. And one of the classic things that I've got to watch, I haven't seen it yet, is this CNBC video. Have you seen this yet? By Chamath Palihapitiya, I think is his name. I'm butchering his last name.
Chamath Palihapitiya. I'm butchering it too. That's not correct.
I've got him in my notes. Chamath Palihapitiya.
Yeah, I've watched it like 4 times. I sent it to you.
Okay, I haven't watched it yet.
I wrote about it for my newsletter this week because it blew my mind.
Yes.
It was so good. It's unfortunately paywalled by CNBC. So if you're a CNBC like Pro or something member, which I'm not, you can watch it.
You can't get it on Vimeo?
I mean, I'm not going to say that you can, but if you were to maybe search for it, you might pull it up. But I wouldn't know anything about that.
Power to the people.
Copyrights, are a thing.
Power to the people.
But it's they paywalled it either to hide it or because it was so popular that they wanted to make money off of people joining their service just to watch it. But you might be able to find it online if you do a little searching. And it's just great. He basically is saying exactly what I said a minute ago, except he says it way better. Like, these guys are super smart. They're aware of what they're doing. The idea that they would be somehow not as good as somebody who's a quote unquote professional is laughable because they have, as you just said, most of the same information. Maybe not every single bit of information. There might be something that like professionals have that we don't have, but for the most part, I think retail investors have, if you look enough, very, very good information.
Honey, if a professional has something we don't have, it's because they've done something illegal.
Maybe. I mean, like in The Big Short, the guys from Boulder, they're from Boulder, right? The two guys who invested out of their garage.
In The Big Short, they were in Boulder, but the actual guys were Berkeley.
Oh, Berkeley. Okay. Yeah. They go to Brad Pitt and they're like, we need to get this special kind of account because they won't give it to us because we don't run $5 billion. Can you help us get this special kind of account or else we can't buy the CDOs? There's stuff like that, right?
Right.
But I think for the most part, we have good information and decent access. And that's essentially what Chamath was saying. Like just because somebody's not a professional doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. And what the CNBC anchor kept saying was basically, but what about the fundamentals? Like, do you think they've really written a 15-page report on this company? Like, do you think they really understand it? And, he's just like, and of course I was screaming at the screen, like, they're not doing this for the fundamentals. This is not a deep investment in which they are like, they might like GameStop, but they might not. And they're doing it because of this short situation that they found. And it's a pure momentum play. And then they brought on some other guy who's apparently like a well-known trader. I never watched CNBC, so I don't know who any of these people are. And he said, I just bought some of this GameStop and sold it pretty quickly and made some good money and donated it to charity. And the anchor was like, good for you. And Chamath immediately goes, dude, you didn't ask him if he wrote a white paper that was 15 pages. You didn't ask him if it was a fundamental play. You knew that it was a momentum play. Right. And because he's a professional, it's somehow okay. Yeah. But all these little retail investors investing from their basements aren't allowed to do that, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and that's the constant refrain here from the sort of establishment of the investing world is like, but what? Is like, but how could they know? Yes. I do not comprehend. And it's just ignorant and annoying, and it's really old world.
Yep.
And I think the other part that they really don't understand is the incredible, I was going to say pain, but even like PTSD level trauma that so many people still hold from the 2007-2008 crash, from having their houses being taken away, from having their parents have saved up. A lot of these guys were like going into college at that time or in college. Their parents saved up from college, lost all their money. Yeah. There's a whole thread on Wall Street Bets.
Like a train wreck created by who?
By the financial industry. By the same thing.
So
the other objection to this that I keep reading is these guys are going after the wrong targets. They don't even understand who's on the other side of this, which is, again, the most patronizing and condescending thing anybody could think, because of course they know who's on the other side of it. They're the ones who know that they're trying to squeeze the shorts, and the shorts are not all of Wall Street. They're kind of like the dark underbelly of Wall Street, right. And people don't really like them that much.
Right.
They know that they're not the guys who created the mortgage crisis in 2008.
Right.
Well, right. They might be some of the same guys, right? Because these people move around, but
they live on the same street.
They're not the same. Yeah, but that's exactly right. It's not because it's like the perfect opponent and it's so beautifully executed. It's because it's somebody. It's somebody who's on Wall Street, who's doing something shady, who they can go after, who's accessible, who's there in a way that they can attack, and they can get something out of it and maybe even win.
This is the revolution, and it's just a revolution. I mean, on this podcast, we've been trying hard to give you guys the information to create a revolution of investing knowledge, which allows the little guy to go out and outperform these guys on Wall Street. And our hope was that enough people would do it, that you would have this, that these companies that are shady, that are screwing their employees and screwing up the environment and don't deserve to be functioning, in your opinion, as a value person, a person that can put their money where their mouth is, that would change the world if you guys invested your own money. That would change the world if you did that.
And is that happening, Dad?
Managers do it. It's happening.
Yeah.
More and more and more and more people are doing this. And these guys are another element of that revolution where they're saying, we don't care if we die. We are going after these guys, and it's going to be fun. Some of us are going to do great, and some of us aren't. Okay, fine. But we are going to attack. We're no longer going to be this compliant, sort of victim of institutional investors. We're just not going to do it anymore.
That's exactly right. We're not going to be the victim of institutional investors anymore. That's the feeling. That's right.
And I'm on
and
that.
I think it's a genuine outcome. I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's a lot of possible outcomes. I think one really possible outcome is that they do not sell and the price stays somewhere around 100, 200, something like that, because some of them, like a couple of them will sell, but most of them won't, and they just hold it. I really think that is a non-zero outcome to this whole thing.
You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.